Hello, my dear intuitive academic. Welcome back to the channel. My name is Shelly, and I do tarot reading guidance for academics and most especially graduate students. So a lot of the questions I work with will serve anyone in that intuitive sort of academic community looking for messages and guidance on certain obstacles, whether it's mental, emotional, spiritual, regarding your journey on this academic path, or also just like the concrete kind of everyday to-dos of getting from A to B in academia. The many smaller bullet points on between each milestone on your academic journey. So that's why today I'm doing a pick a card reading, and we're looking for a message about a current obstacle that you're facing in your dissertation or your thesis. So this reading will be mostly geared towards students, graduate students, PhD, masters, but also those in the sciences. Sorry if I don't know what your degrees are called. MDs, I know that. It's a general reading, and it's a little bit more customized by you using your intuition to pick one of three piles to get the message that's most specific to your situation. Yeah, so with that said, I'm going to pull three cards that will align with these three objects I have here. And so you might already engage your intuition to see which object you're drawn to. So I actually have three pieces of jewelry of mine that I got from the Philippines at different periods. So I go back and forth, and I live in the Philippines quite often during the year. So this first object is a capiz shell earring with a flower painted over it. This second object is also an earring, cut out of a swath of an indigenous weaving cloth. So I got this at a museum, and they work with the local indigenous communities to create these earrings. And then this last object are pearls, Philippine pearls on a bracelet. So it might be that these objects already mean something to you in your life, or that you just happen to be drawn to either one today, and you can be drawn to more than one or all three, and that might mean that you have different messages in each pile or layers of messages to help you understand the overall urgent kind of guidance that you need today to face your obstacle. So we're also going to pull three cards that will help you further decide which pile you're going to draw your guidance from. So we're asking today for a message regarding an obstacle that you're facing in your dissertation or your thesis, or any kind of degree, really. So this is mostly for people on that graduate student path. Okay. So in the first pile we have good luck charm, number 10. So if nothing seems to be going your way, cast a spell. And it looks like she's wearing an acorn necklace, so if any of this resonates with you, that will be in the shell pile, which will be the first chapter. The second card is the Hermit, 9. There are some things that must be done on your own. And if this resonates with you, this will be in the second chapter with the cloth earring. And in the third pile, we have the King of Swords. We can all learn important things from one another. And So if this one resonates with you, this will be in the last pile, group number 3 with the pearls. So take as long as you need. If you need to pause the video for a minute and just kind of meditate on each pile, maybe look for clues in each pile, something that draws you or resonates with you. Whether you kind of find that quickly or slowly, that's fine. And then you can click ahead to the corresponding chapter, and that will be your reading. So I'll see you there next. So hi, welcome, pile number 1 in the shell group. So you were drawn to both the shell and this card, number 10, the good luck charm. If nothing seems to be going your way, cast a spell. So I wanted to actually start by reading the book's description of the number 10 card. So it looks here in the book that aligning with the typical sequence of the tarot cards, this is actually the Wheel of Fortune card. It looks a little different because you have, instead of a wheel, you have a woman here with possibly a good luck charm, an acorn, and magic all around her. Kind of, it looks like she's visioning something or getting an idea, getting like a sudden light bulb moment over something she's been thinking about. So I'm going to just first read from the deck explanations to get a little more insight on what specifically the creator had intended for this card. So it says, after experiencing setback after setback, this witch finally decides that fate isn't something that's just allowed to happen to her. So she makes herself a good luck charm to wear. This way, I'll attract at least one good thing my way, she proclaims. She's right, some stuff is out of our control, but there are plenty of things we can control. This card usually indicates that there's something you can do about your current circumstances, not limited to enchanting your jewelry. Make a list of possible solutions, start from the top, and don't stop till something works. Don't settle for what you're given when there's likely a way to get what you want. So I can already see that this pile is going to be focused a little bit on facing setbacks and acknowledging things that you can control versus things that you can't, with a little bit more emphasis on recognizing that there are things that you can control that maybe previously you thought you couldn't. So we'll pull some tarot cards for more elaboration there. So again, we're looking for advice on an obstacle that you're facing in your dissertation or your thesis, focusing on one obstacle in particular, and it looks to be that it might be about something that feels out of your control, but you can take a little bit more control over it in the sense that you can create your own luck. That seems to be maybe a major theme in this group, creating your own luck. Although the Wheel of Fortune card on its own does have a connotation of things that are fated to kind of write themselves for you, there's also a message here about you can have a hand in how this happens too. So thinking about good luck, charms that can surround you. We don't know yet the specifics of the obstacles, so that's what we'll work on first. So you start with the Seven of Swords reversed as that central energy, and I believe this is already speaking to the obstacle that you're facing. And so the Seven of Swords is a card about, you can see there's an image of a person kind of looking over their shoulder, sneaking off from the castle with a bunch of swords. So it's about kind of like somebody being sneaky in your life, somebody's taking something. And because we are an academic group and the swords represent thoughts and the mind, I'm thinking that there's some worry about people stealing an idea of yours. If not some others stealing an idea, then it could be a plagiarism issue, possibly even on your part. Like maybe you didn't realize you were plagiarizing and in a way like stealing someone else's work. Because this is in reverse, it almost feels to me like almost unintentional stealing, whether that direction is happening on your part or to you. That seems to be kind of what the obstacle we're dealing with here. So we'll get more clarification on this. So you got the Page of Wands reversed and the Empress. So the Page of Wands reversed kind of speaks to me about a something cut short with a creative spark or a creative message. I want to say like a smaller subset of ideas within the larger work. So this could be like a chapter or a piece of research that kind of got some stickiness to it. So it could be that this problem does not pertain to the whole dissertation or thesis. It's just to maybe one chapter or even one piece of the data, even one subsection. It's kind of it's limited to a smaller swath of the work as a whole. And then the Empress here is kind of speaking to me about something coming to like fruition, kind of a complete set of ideas, something blooming. So it almost kind of speaks to me about the project as a whole. And I'm not sure yet what it's speaking to, so I'm just going to continue with the messages. So you have the Death reversed and the Star reversed. Oh, these are so interesting together. So the Death reverse is about kind of like the ending of something and the rebirth of something. Let me just flip this over. So it could be a heavy card. It could be heavy in the ending part, but there's always hope on the horizon with the rebirth. And today I'm just really being drawn to these keys, which I never am in this card. So I kind of think that's kind of a main component here. And here I was really drawn to the seeds. So I'm just going to keep that in mind. And then the Star is a wish fulfillment card. So something that you've been wishing for, something that you've been trying to manifest kind of like conspires and finally aligns with the universe to materialize. But it is in the reverse. So there's some kind of block to that happening. And this is like a double reversed energy. So I'm going to have to keep drawing, but I'm seeing some alignment with the Empress and the Star, a fulfillment here, a completion here, kind of, and a hindrance to a wish fulfillment here. So it's almost like something is being produced, something is growing the way it needs to be, but it's not the way you expected. And it's almost like death and rebirth. You're kind of turning things upside down to be able to see it in the way that it's turning out now. Okay, so let's just keep going. This is kind of interesting for me. Then you have the Sun in reversed, so many reversed, and the Six of Pentacles reversed. So I think the Sun and the Empress is really interesting. I feel like they correspond, at least to me, really well, because you have the woman who's abundant and kind of in the ruler of her life, and she's pregnant. Then you have the Sun, which has a child, and both have these sunflowers happening here. Almost like the product of the project, the completed project happening here. And then the Six of Pentacles reversed is receiving help from someone who is better able to help you. But because it's reversed, I almost want to say this might be the person that's the obstacle to you. Somebody that is giving you help is actually doing it in a way that's hindering you. So I don't know if this is outright somebody that's like a professor of yours, or somebody in your research that is the expert that is supposed to help advise you, is either giving you maybe like wrong information, or has an extra motive to kind of use your work without your permission or without your knowing. There's some kind of sneakiness going on for sure as the central energy. And this is the one that alerts me more than any other card, is that you expected the scales to be balanced and for things to work as they should. The person who is able to give gives to you as it should happen. Probably in my interpretation, someone in higher authority or status giving you, like opening the doors to your knowledge, or to your career progression. And that reminds me of the keys here. When I said opening the doors, that's not happening with the Death card. And that energy is coming from someone else. They're not doing their part. They have some kind of mental hang-up about letting you succeed, which, yeah, I'm getting the feeling that you're really on to something great. You have a great set of ideas here. It's complete, it's full, it's ready. And I'm noticing now the key here has the male and female symbol, and there's a female symbol on her earrings. It's like you already have the key, yet they think that they have the key and they can hold you back. And it's reminding me here all about good luck charms. Like, if this acorn was a key, it's like you already got the key. You have the good fortune that you did the work right. You are having this incredible insight. The work is coming together as it should. Somebody feels threatened by that. Somebody in higher authority than you, and possibly directly related to your work, possibly not. This is kind of the message that's coming through to me. I feel like there's a little bit more in the Sun reverse I need to speak to. So the Sun card is all about like basking in the sun, like living in the goodness of life. Joy is the main word usually here, but in the context of a project, I'm looking a bit at the horse and the newness of the child. So the horse reminds me of the knight. I mean, even the death card here, some forward motion, steady motion, and it's happening. And then the child holding this pole here, very kind of like skilled, even though young, and has direction, and almost it gives me that old soul in a young body kind of message of like, this person is here to do something. Their soul already knows this, and even though it doesn't really match up with their physical age, there's a direction, there's kind of like a steadfast kind of goal happening here. But because it's reverse, I wonder if this is speaking to how it's affecting you, and you're losing confidence, that even though you're young, and I might be speaking to someone specifically in this pile that's younger than the average age of going into higher education. Yeah, this is a flagpole, and there's a flag. You're meant to carry a flag. You're meant to say something that people hear and bring light to everyone with the sun. And there's a block with that related to someone in authority or someone older in age to you. Okay, so I feel like we've kind of established what that obstacle is, and that's kind of a major obstacle. I'm sorry to hear that you're going through that right now. So we kind of want to pull out what's the message that you need to hear. And of course we've already got a major message from your 10 card, the good luck charm, which is you don't need to feel powerless, even though if you're younger and in lesser authority, you can, focusing on the stars here, you can create your own luck. You can turn this around for yourself. Yeah, the stars here, here, and here. You have your own magic to do this. You just have to believe in it. So if nothing seems to be going your way, cast a spell. I mean, I don't think you need to literally cast a spell, but I'm thinking that means to me that you can use your voice. You can say something to this person or to someone, like a trusted friend, or if you need to report something to the institution, maybe that's what's happening here. But I feel strongly like the voice is involved, and speaking up for yourself and just being direct about it, because you're in the right and everything is ready to right itself. It's kind of like it just needs your hand to tilt it back into place, with the misalignment happening here with the external party to your work. I'm gonna take a couple oracle cards to see if there's further message there. Whoops. Okay, so this is the sheep and blackberry devotion. So let me pull up that card and see what that's speaking to. The sheep and blackberry calls us to focus on our commitments, whether they're to a partner, a job, a creative practice, or a spiritual tradition. Sheep are innocent and vulnerable and must be watched over and guided. Blackberries are symbols of protection with their large brambling thorns. Their abundant fruit also symbolizes prosperity. Combining the energies of the two gives us direction. Honor our promises, allowing them to fruit and flourish. Oh gosh, yeah, so this No wonder I put it here next to the Sun card. So speaking to like innocence and vulnerability because of your age, or how maybe like early you are on this academic path, you have a vulnerability that somebody is seeing and, you know, not protecting. And so this right now is a practice in learning to protect yourself, as we kind of established before, by speaking up. And yeah, so it's interesting. So the blackberries are also about protecting the vulnerable and the innocent. And then there's some focus on your commitments, you know, calling into focus, or maybe I would say to question your commitments to a certain partner, so a certain advisor, maybe a certain partnership in the research, if that's serving you or not. Using your voice, you might simply like cease the partnership and say, like, if you have a gut feeling that you don't trust what's going on here, call it off. Your project will not suffer. It'll be better for it, because you kind of took out the thorn of that third or external party that's not serving you or the project as they should. So it's asking, in what people or practices do you find wisdom and stability? Care for them. Be your own guide. Wisdom comes from within rather than from without. And it is your responsibility to impart this gift as a mentor or teacher. That's interesting that it's pulling up the mentor or teacher. But instead, I think here, you can be your own mentor, your teacher. You don't need to blindly trust in the authority of someone who has that label in your life. How can I better care for my relationships, spiritual practices, or work? Okay, so like one more message, I think, to see if there's something else we need to round out, but it looks like we're getting the message already. Thanks very much. Okay. Oh, so you have the Wild One, and I know that this card is all about empowerment and being your full self unapologetically. So the reading with this one says, I claim my full expression. The Wild One is uninhibited, unencumbered, and weightless, without the judgments and expectations of others anchoring her down. The chains that bind fall away, and freedom is fully expressed. Truth is the guiding star here, and it permeates every inch, moment, and action with this internal compass. I like this for you, internal compass. Almost like replacing the key and the acorn here is your internal compass is almost like your own wheel of fortune, your own lucky charm is your own intuition and your internal guidance. That's very strong for you. That kind of hit me just now. Forward motion is propelled by desire for authenticity and determination to claim what is most true and real. Yeah, and then it goes on, oh my gosh, it says you have the key, you have the courage, you have the inner knowing of the ways your life will bloom and expand when this part of you is set free. Unlock the cage. Oh, that might be what the key is talking about too. Kind of unlocking yourself. If you're locking your own voice down, or locking yourself into a certain partnership or, you know, like institution even, I might say that this could be, that's not serving you well. Break free, be the wild one. You're supported in this. You have what you need, despite, you know, maybe feeling young or being young or feeling disadvantaged. This is kind of the big obstacle that you can overcome at this point in your life, to recognize that you do create your own luck, that you already possess that internal wheel of fortune through your inner compass. And you will get through this. Oh, so this is a little heavy, so my heart is with you, those listening to the shell pile, and I'm really cheering for you as you overcome this obstacle. It seems to be a big one. Not in the sense as we said, it's a small part of your overall project, but it's a big, like a big obstacle in your life growth. That will serve you once you overcome this. It will serve you in the future as you just get stronger and stronger, and then you become the advisor or the teacher at some point. So wishing you all the best, I really feel like this is meant to turn out well for you. You just have to, do what you need to do to take care of yourself and share your voice. So wishing you luck, and if this resonated with you, please hit the like button or subscribe. Also, I would love to see you back again, and my motivational and loving energy is being sent to you as you go through this. Hello there, you found your way to pile number 2, or the cloth group, and you were drawn to this card here, the Hermit. And it's such an interesting Hermit. Some of the first things that stood out to me were the curtains covered in hearts. So despite somewhat of a kind of isolated kind of image, there's warmth in the tone, and then there's love all around, surrounding. So this person is surrounded by love and warmth despite any kind of not difficulty, but like a journey or struggle for knowledge or insight that they're going through that requires their isolation. And I thought this is such an appropriate card for an academic reading, for a graduate student reading in particular. I feel like this is a graduate student kind of typical wardrobe. You've got the hoodie and the jeans, comfortable, surrounded by your books that you're using at all times, and your device right here. And the main kind of thing coming through to me about the dress that's very different from the other clothing and the other cards is that it's practical, right? It's humble. It's a necessity for the time being, but it is just for the time being. It's part of being a grad student, which is just like a temporal experience. It's not forever. But of course, I think it was drawn with the intention to match the robes, like the monk's type of robes that you typically see in the Hermit card. The other thing that caught my eye was the crystal that she's holding on the chain, as if it's going to talk to her or give her some answers. So it first made me think of, I don't know if you've seen in some TV shows where they use the crystal to kind of like let it gravitate like a pendulum toward a point on a map and like kind of point to where something is. It made me think of that, like searching for something, right? Searching, if not just for a location, searching for something that they don't know the whereabouts of, but they kind of know what they're looking for. They just don't know where it is. Gave me that impression. Or it made me also think it could be like a crystal necklace. I don't know if any of you have a treasured crystal necklace that you keep with you, but those are the things that immediately stood out to me. So I want to start off by reading the creator's description of this card to see further into the intention of how she was understanding the Hermit card. And the phrase here is, there are some things that must be done on your own. So let's see, number 9. Here we have a witch who has recently discovered the power of the pendulum. Also, it's the pendulum, a divination tool not unlike tarot that gives them all the answers they could ever want or need. Here's what else they've discovered. All those answers actually come from within. I don't need someone else to give me all the answers, and newsflash, neither do you. You're also being guided to limit other people's unlimited access to you so you can do a little soul searching and introspection. They say to you, if you're unsure how to proceed on your journey, then try reading books or interesting spiritual topics. See if they can open your mind to ideas you've never considered. So there's a little bit about intentional isolation happening here because there are a lot of external demands, possibly friends, family, work, everyday things that are kind of taking away your energy. And isolation is kind of a temporary way to circumvent that, and a necessary way right now so that you can find the answers that you need. And there are a couple of suggestions for finding those answers directly in books, which I'm sure you've been reading a lot already. It's somewhere in there. But more, there was the emphasis on finding the answer within. So quieting down what's happening in, at its lightest, maybe distractions, but at its heaviest, it might be chaotic. Quieting all that down so that you can hear what you already know within, what message you need to give yourself. So I'm going to elaborate on that now with some tarot cards. So again, this is a message for graduate students about how to face an obstacle that you're dealing with in your dissertation or thesis. Give it one more shuffle. So centering this question, we have the Queen of Swords. And that's so interesting. It's so powerful to see right here. So Queen of Swords has clarity of mind and decision making and balanced thinking. She's kind of mastered the thinking and the communication. So that we might be talking a bit about writing here, the communication part of the research product. Also, I want to say presenting because it kind of looks like she's speaking to an audience. So if there's a conference on the horizon for you, that might be looped in here too. So you also get the King of Cups reversed and the Knight of Cups reversed. So the cups rule emotions, and usually the King of Cups would have been more of this person who rules with balanced emotions and actually using balanced emotions as a strength. And it can refer to a specific person, or it can refer to just the idea of handling something, ruling a certain something, an area or a project through a balanced set of emotions. And as it's connected to the Queen of Swords, emotions married to thought. So there is a connection between thought and emotions that's coming through to me here because of the strong energy in the court cards. And then the Knight of Cups is like the romance card, usually in the upright position. An action moving forward in terms of like a love offer, or maybe like a pleasant kind of emotion. But that's also reversed. So there's something, I will say it, like unbalanced here, where maybe the thought is so centered that it's throwing the emotional part that is a necessary component to balance here off balance into areas. So in the area of the court of ruling this project, and also in the area of starting or bringing things to a new level or a new journey or a new direction, some kind of action or direction component to the overall project. But let's just keep pulling first. And then we have the Emperor reversed and the Three of Cups together. So the Emperor reverse is typically not always a person, but like an overall energy. So this could be like an institution or something with some kind of authoritative power, or it could be you not taking power, the kind of ownership that's needed in some aspect. This could be not you specifically, but like the energy that is needed to bring to this obstacle is not happening. I'm not sure yet though. I'm just going to leave those thoughts there. And then the Three of Cups looks like it speaks to community, not just partnership, and not just working together, but supporting each other, uplifting each other is the word I really kind of think of when I see this card, because they're literally look like they're floating, right? They're uplifting each other through joy and celebration. And another cups, sharing of cups. So the cups flow into each other and everyone has enough. Everyone's floating on overflowing cups that come from the community. So I'm wondering if that will be something to do with your message of how to approach this obstacle. And then you have the Eight of Wands and then the Nine of Swords last. So Eight of Wands speaks to something happening fast, and it could be a message too with the birds, a message coming in fast, maybe something that already happened, that you got news of something very abruptly, and then it kind of caused you some worry and anxiety, because this is the anxiety card. I'm seeing these two kind of like almost a little bit separate, but as a determining factor in maybe what's influencing your imbalance that's happening here. Okay, so just to kind of recap, I'm seeing this as an event that happened, a sudden news that caused you worry, great worry, and you're off balance. You're leaning very heavily on your mental form of processing and finding clarity. And the answer is hidden in this water though. And the water though, it has been blocked for whatever reason. Or it's just not being given the light that it needs to. Because ideally you want to be working like this in your project with these three cards. You want the King of Cups being balance, ruling of emotion, Queen of Swords, clarity of thought, the water and the clouds, and then moving forward with the Knight of Cups, kind of like, I mean, you might see this as like the King of Cups well balanced with the Queen of Swords in good relationship. They produce this Knight of Cups child that brings everything to the next generation, to the next level. So I see these three cards really speaking to, I almost want to separate everything, really speaking to your project. And then these two speak to your surrounding circumstances. Oh yes, because we had the advice here about external chaos and distractions. So I think that's what's happening here. That even though there's joy and celebrations, it can be a bit much. And that's where the isolation is helpful. But I kind of see maybe that's also influencing, you're feeling a little bit of guilt for isolating. So you know that you need to do this, but possibly guilt is being imposed on you with the Emperor reversed. This could be, I want to say this is family, like, and this is not any one person in your family, but the family as an institution, as like your family, that this like kind of heavy weight is, I think maybe your family doesn't understand and they want you to partake and they want to uplift you, but that can't happen yet for you because you need this period of isolation to get to the next level. And so I don't know what this news is. Maybe the next cards will clarify that. But I think that some advice here would be to forgive yourself or release something from this message or process it, you know, to put yourself back in balance. Because a lot of what your obstacle is being shown to me today is not necessarily the external conditions, because that's been there, that's not changing. It's more that it's new how you're processing it. And I'm really feeling guilt. I'm feeling the word guilt. That's kind of weighing heavily on you, that you're choosing your isolation and your books over your community. It could be your community too, although I did name this as family, so some people it could be like a community that you're having to step back from because of your time limitations in grad school, and your relationship is changing and it's affecting how you do your work as well. But then I just saw again the hearts and all the surrounding the person here in the curtains, and you're still surrounded by love and warmth. It's still there. And this is my personal recommendation to you. It's just that the relationship is changing, and that can be like growing pains, and it's just a matter of figuring out how that will look, but it's not the end of the world, you know. Relationships change, but doesn't mean that anything has to, you know, has to come to like an abrupt or disastrous end. Yeah, I'm really seeing this obstacle as mental and emotional grief or guilt. Okay, so I'm gonna pull a couple of oracle cards and see if there's additional message in there. Okay, this is so cute. You have the chipmunk and laurel. Success! Oh wow, that's amazing. So let me just find the description of this really quick and read it. So the chipmunk and laurel symbolizes a new venture that will surely lead to success. Yay! The chipmunk often takes the road less traveled, finding hidden pathways and adventure along the way. Oh, so you might be like first generation graduate student, blazing trails. The laurel is a symbol of victory used to crown the winners in an ancient Olympic Games. Wow, so you're going to the top. Together they tell us to take charge of our destiny, carve our own path, and find success. Forge a unique path towards your desires. The road to achieving your goals is hardly ever straight and easy, but the journey is ultimately rewarding. What successes in my life can I celebrate? Oh, I know I put it there for a reason. Celebrating successes, maybe focusing more on that. How can I carve my own path and live my truth? Oh gosh, oh yeah, when I said truth, I landed right on the Queen of Swords. So this is a truth speaker kind of energy as well. So that, yeah, that kind of changed how I want to package this. Clarity here, but also truth speaking that's coming through in your dissertation or your thesis. and it needs the backing of the emotions. Oh, so it's almost like you might be getting a little bit too robotic in how you're explaining things. You're a little divorced from the significance, the meaning behind why you're doing this research and the message that you have. That message is important, but the communication of the importance gets lost when you're not adding in the balanced emotions to the thought in communicating it. So you might want to like reach out to like a writing center or whatever writing support you have at your capacity in your institution and see if they can help you on any specific part that you're struggling to communicate. I want to say like the introduction will be important here because the knight is like starting something, so the introduction of your dissertation might need a little bit more of that meaning conveyed. Yeah. That's like an additional message that came on the heels of this card. So let me get one more, see if there's something else going on there that we can help with certain obstacle you're facing. And so you have here the fox. I've never seen this card. I'm so interested to see what it says. So 35. The fox, I can sense what is in alignment for me. A quietly cunning creature of the forest, fox knows how to move in silence. They observe and assess their options, never straying too far from the safety of their den. Oh, that seems very much kind of like the hermit a bit. The isolation, but the hunt, you know, the journey, kind of perceiving. With a keen awareness of the possibilities they can pursue, fox sets their sights on a particular hunt and tracks it with calm certainty and concentration. You're being reminded of ways you can explore an interest by beginning with curiosity. Instead of blasting out of the gates, this is an invitation to start an endeavor with a slow and steady approach. Yeah, this is reminding me of the King of Cups here. You don't need to burst out and like get this thing done. Just let your curiosity guide you. You know, let that crystal guide you where it needs to, and you just follow it. With this mindset, you'll be gifted the chance to truly take notice of whether this new quest is in alignment. If you come to find that it's not the right direction for you, you'll be primed to shift course with ease. Okay, so there's a little bit about slowing your roll here. And this is kind of speaking to me in opposition to the quickness of this energy that happened, possibly with some news or a message, maybe some pressure to change your direction or your topic, which caused you some anxiety. And this is telling you to like take the isolation, internally navigate, follow your curiosity and take the time to truly decide what's best for you. And now I'm thinking the Knight of Cups in reverse does also speak to speed, possibly a slower speed than a knight usually would take. And that's the advice for you in facing your obstacle. Fox teaches you that not everything is worth the chase, and sometimes it takes a few tries to find what is most deserving of your focus. Look at what is arising and new within your world, getting curious about which tracks are yours to follow. And your journal question is, what opportunities do I have in front of me to choose from? Which ones feel most in alignment? Oh, so interesting. So you do have success here, ultimate success, and blazing a trail. But that is going to come with a lot of time and patience and focus, not on running the trail, but on determining your best path to take, which trail really to take. And that's why your cards are calling you to more of a internal den environment to reflect on that next step. Because it seems to me from this message that that is the most important part, is not just completing something or making a quick decision. It's about the patience and the heart in balance with the decision making. And the space you give yourself to do that, that is the most important part here. And they want you to keep that at the forefront as you're facing this obstacle, that time is your friend and isolation is your friend. It will give you the clarity you need to ultimately find that path to success. Your success is in determining the direction at this point and not necessarily in busting out of the gates and running for it. So that's the message I have for you, and I'm hoping you the best with that. I mean, it looks like everything's going to turn out great with success. This is just kind of the struggle that you have to face at this moment, and I hope that gave you some ideas of what you can do for yourself to take care of yourself always and get through this obstacle you're facing. So please give me a like if this resonated with you, and subscribe. I would love to see you again here, and wishing you all the best, sending my loving energy to you as you complete this obstacle in your academic journey. Take care. Hello, group number 3, and this is actually the pearl bracelet group. And I stepped out for a little bit after the first 2 piles, and I just got back to do your pile, so you can tell it's a bit darker than when you first picked the piles, but I think it's still visible, and so romantic to see the candle flame on your card that you selected, kind of right on the lamp the light is hitting. So I just thought that was a cool effect, and maybe kind of significant to what we might see in your message today. So you chose the King of Swords, and the card here says, we can all learn important things from one another. And this is a very kind of scholastic looking card at the office or at a library with a typewriter. We can probably transpose this into a laptop nowadays. And I see that this woman is concentrating hard. It's just her and the typewriter, a single lamp, and she's in the zone, I would say. And she has a little sword pin right there. So these are the things that are first drawing me to this card. And we'll pull some tarot cards to get some more information about what's the situation you're in, what's the obstacle that you're facing that you could use some guidance on at this moment in your dissertation or your thesis. So we'll just ask that of the cards and see how the story unfolds. So your central energy card is, wow, you have another sword, another woman yielding a sword. But this is the Justice card. This is so interesting. And she seems to be looking directly at the King of Swords card. I feel like this is like justice upon justice, like institutional kind of authority, double energy. So the King of Swords is kind of like ruling thoughts and mind and intelligence, logic, I would say. Logic might be the standout word there. And so he kind of rules whatever like project or domain with a balanced and clarity of thought. And so it's more about, whereas the Queen of Swords more about like communication and processing thought, the King of Swords is more about using the thought to kind of, in a hierarchical way, to kind of guide or lead others. I would say leadership and logic are the main words I associate with King of Swords. The Justice is a little bit more specific to either the legal system or like karmic justice, poetic justice, anything that needs to balance the scales. Social justice, I don't know if any of these forms of justice stand out to you, either in like the kind of work that you're doing or in the situation you're in. Possibly you work on some sort of justice or inequality related topics in your dissertation or thesis, but this is a central energy, so there'll be much more to understand about this as we pull more cards. Oh, so you also have the Queen of Swords next to the King of Swords, but she's in the reverse. A lot of swords happening for you. Another sword, Ace of Swords. Wow. Okay, so you have a lot going on mentally and and institutionally, possibly legally. I don't know if you're in law school actually or studying the law, because there's so many swords. You're so guided by the swords. The swords are so in your life. But like I said, the Queen of Swords is a bit more on the communication end, and I would say like flowing, the give and take of communication, listening and responding. And so this seems to be blocked or out of balance in your scenario. And then you also have an Ace of Swords, which is kind of exciting and beautiful. You can just feel the excitement in the images of a new idea blossoming, a new idea being offered to you. And you see there's like a hand offering you the sword with a crown and flowers or leaves growing from the top. And it's right next to your main card. As you're typing, it's like, yeah, to do with writing and communication, there's a new direction or a new thought that you're acting, I wouldn't say you're acting on, but it's there for you. And then you also have the Wheel of Fortune and the Queen of Pentacles. Okay, so you have the Wheel of Fortune, which is a great sign. Good luck, kind of, or fortune or fate is kind of turning your way. It's kind of like the wind behind your sails, helping you as you navigate this obstacle. And the Queen of Pentacles, which is a great energy of material attainment, but also the ability to enjoy and maintain that material stability and abundance in a mature way. So this is the first of another element that you're getting, so I'm curious to see how this will continue rounding out. But you do have a lot of like Queen energy. I kind of want to include justice in that Queen energy coming through. So I feel like a strong, like a character of fortitude in you. A leader for sure. This is definitely, I want to say that you're a leader in thought and a leader in possibly like applying that thought or taking action on that thought in like practical, real world ways. Oh my gosh, the Queen of, you're really rounding out the Queen. So you have the Queen of Cups in reverse next, and last the Page of Wands upright. Okay, so the Queen of Cups is all about emotional balance, and I would tie communication to this as well. And I'm seeing a I'm seeing kind of a connection between the Queen of Swords reversed and the Queen of Cups reversed. And this is an aspect that came through in the second group, the cloth group. So you might have a message waiting there for you as well if you want to check that out. But because both the Queen of Cups and Queen of Swords are reversed, and to me they're like looking opposite, they're looking away from each other, they're not working together, there's some kind of imbalance between your thoughts and your motivations, like the emotions behind your work. I want to almost say they're almost like bringing you on two diverging paths, but they shouldn't. They should be working together, and you're feeling pressured to choose one over the other. Like, say this is a social justice type of topic scenario where you're an activist, but you're also a researcher, and you're kind of making the choice of how much do I let my activism come into my writing, my research writing? You know, you're trying to balance those two hats or crowns. I can see that coming through here. And then last, the Page of Wands can be a new kind of creative idea or venture or a message to do with a new creative kind of venture. I'm slowing down because I'm really drawn to the two tiny leaves at the top of the wands. And I'm trying to think of, oh, I think that's drawing me back to here, the Ace of Swords. Yeah, so there's a link between the Ace of Swords and the Page of Wands in something you can grow with the start of a new idea or new thought that matches with this kind of like budding, nascent, creative energy that you hold as well. So this tells me that you're doing something a little bit different. You're thinking differently here. And you're going to need your thoughts and your emotions to work together rather than trying to decide between the two of them. Okay, so let's see. So looking at this, it kind of seems to me that there's a lot going for you, and the obstacle is really possibly internal to you, or something about like external expectations, creating like a dissonance with what you want to do, which is to be expected, because if you're doing something that's new against the norm and you're trying to kind of like get people to accept this or get this approved by say like your committee or your advisors or your professors, someone who's not going to yet like understand, then there can be the pressure to like, okay, relinquish your kind of relinquish your push for this direction so that you just kind of adhere to the norm and get the degree. And so it's kind of up to you, because you do have that fortitude, you do have the clarity of thought, the focus. Yeah, it's really the focus. You're focused on this because you see something that other people can't. You see possibilities, and your eyes aren't letting go. And I want to tell you that you can really do this if you want to stick to it. And like I said, the Wheel of Fortune is behind your back on this, because actually I'm feeling very excited. This is like important work that you're doing. It's hard because it's unprecedented, but you have you have something, you have help at your back. You know, spirit or ancestors, you have otherworldly help, because this is possibly something that you are here to accomplish. And I think you can feel that deeply. It's within your character that you are here for that. So your obstacle really, I see, is to turn these queens right side up. Have them facing each other again and working together, communicating together. Your heart and your head on the paper, on your typewriter here. Yeah, as friends, as communications, as partnership, not one or the other, no matter how much you might be influenced from the outside, from the institution, from your advisors, to stick strictly to logic. I feel like that's more the pressure here, obviously. I feel like in your dissertation or thesis, they're questioning, why is there like so much wishy-washy stuff happening? But for you, you see that there's a significance here that's giving more meaning to the logical stuff. Okay, I want to pull some oracle cards so that we can get a little more guidance for you on this. So just a little more guidance on how you can face this obstacle. Okay, so you have the weasel and pine, introspection. Let me quickly just pull up the explanation of this. Oh, I opened right to it. Weasels can be warriors or spies. Oh, I feel like you're kind of on more the warrior end, but that's up to you. Moving quickly and often alone, they make observations from afar and adjust their plans accordingly. Remember that solitary creatures are nothing to fear, and an introverted nature is nothing to feel ashamed of. Knowing oneself and being comfortable alone are desirable skills. Like the weasel, the pine tree works to be self-sufficient. One of the fastest growing evergreens, its prickly needles have a waxy coating that helps them retain water. Oh yeah, this is really kind of speaking to the pile number 2, the cloth pile. So I would recommend that you check that out, because they got the Hermit card, which is about being solitary and introverted. And the King of Swords here also kind of has that isolated, introverted energy. Not a permanent thing, not a personality trait, but like this is kind of what's happening at the moment in your academic journey that needs to be done, an essential step. So that energy is really what you're in right now. And you are called to a time of solitude. Isolation allows for contemplation, which can lead to self-knowledge. Yeah, great. Isolation. So I wonder if isolation, and as I said before, maybe more the space to focus, like here in the library, the isolation, the quietness, the ability to focus is going to help balance out the 2 queens, your heart and your head. And that will help you see a way to bring that balance into the perfect kind of melted consistency between the 2, that it can, others will understand what you're going for, and it can be accepted in your dissertation or thesis as you keep going. Okay, I'm gonna get one more card for you here. Ooh, a dark card. So you have Waxing Crescent Moon, the number 1 card. So let's read what this is about. Waxing crescent moon, I let my curiosity lead the way. Gently emerging from the darkness, the waxing crescent moon is the growing light that marks the beginning of a new cycle. Ooh, so that's kind of like the new idea here. And then this gives context that it's kind of emerging from the darkness. So like you're bringing some light, you're bringing something to light, you're bringing some clarity to something that hasn't had that yet. And if you see the image of the woman here, she's kind of like leaping off into the unknown, but joyfully and like fully trusting. And then you have more plants here, so more leaves sprouting, and we've seen that in the Page of Wands and the Ace of Swords as well. New ideas, new growth. You're sprouting the first leaves that will lead to more leaves to come. Yeah, you're setting a new direction, a new way of thinking, a new field of thinking, something like that. This time of rebirth calls upon your innate childlike wonder, beckoning you to look at the world with fresh eyes. Remember the way the world looked when you were young? Surprises could be found around each corner as curiosity guided your every move. Everyday magic surrounds you. Awaken to the wonder that has been right in front of you all along. Allow yourself to find childlike curiosity at every opportunity so that you might more readily recall how wild and wondrous the world is. This is kind of making me think about these two cards, the new idea and the creative endeavor, and kind of the novelty of it. So the recommendation is to take a childlike curiosity to this because it is new, and there's opportunity to be filled with wonder here as you go through it. I'm also drawn to the Queen of Pentacles because it's kind of like the motherly, caretaking energy over that might be watching over the childlike curiosity. I'm really thinking now this is not necessarily you, but this is somebody watching over you in like a motherly, protective way. The wind behind your sails is some guidance that you're getting, and this is very stable, like a stable hand behind your back. You have the ability, the opportunity to explore with a childlike curiosity in whatever you're working on here, because you are protected and you are being guided like as if by a motherly or parental figure in another form. It's time to reemerge and collect evidence of life's cyclical magic through a commitment to curiosity. Journal prompt, what has sparked my curiosity lately? And so I think that's a kind of beautiful message to leave you off on, that you're well supported on your journey here, on your obstacle. And the obstacle is internal. It's focused on balancing the heart with the head in a way that you can communicate that to others, because your message, your way of structuring your thought is very important. It depends on both logic and emotional processing of what what insights you have. So hopefully this resonated with you. Please hit the like button, the like bucket, if it did, and I would love for you to subscribe, and hope to see you again. And otherwise, sending you lots of love and hoping that you work with love as you continue on this incredible journey. Thank you.